Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhara Śrīvasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudhirayat Shrinvatam swakataha Krishnaha punyashravana kirtanaham Hrudyantasto hyabhadrani vidunoti suhrutsatam Nashtaprayeshvabhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtriki Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We'll continue. Today we are discussing chapter 15, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, chapter 15, the Pāṇḍavas Retire Timely. This is what we are going to discuss very quickly. I have a quiz now. Please answer. Anybody can answer. We'll start with Narayana. Which question we are talking about?
Activities of Parikshit.
Birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj. In that, birth is already discussed. Activities of Parikshit Maharaj is this thing. What are the unanswered questions now? So many questions are asked, so many questions are answered. At this point of time, what are the unanswered questions?
How did the conversation between Shuka and Parikshit take place?
Yes.
And why did Parikshit Maharaj give up his royal order?
Yes.
For the benefit of others?
Yeah.
And why did he give up his body, which was already engaged in other activities for the welfare of others?
And also how Hastinapura people recognized Shukadeva Goswami. Yeah, these were the questions that are unanswered. Rest all questions are answered. And there was one question, one set of questions. They are asked twice. Why and what are those questions?
Same thing about birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj. It was asked for the second time because Suta Goswami, in mode of ecstasy, he started narrating how Krishna is entering Dwaraka, and he might have spoken about that Leela, about Lord Kṛṣṇa. So Suta Shonakadi Rishi, they bring him back by asking questions.
When was that question asked first time? When was that question asked second time?
First time it was asked in 4th chapter.
4th chapter, 10th question. Yeah. Then?
Second time it was asked in
12th chapter.
12th chapter.
Yeah. 12th chapter. We didn't give those questions because same questions are asked again. First is in 4th chapter and 10th chapter. He reminded him. I think he's all the way went to Dwarka. So this is my question. Then again, and 2 times he spoke about Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj. The same question is answered twice. When was that? First in chapter 7. And then
again.
Yeah, in the chapter 12 beginning, he answered this question about how Yudhiṣṭhira ruled the kingdom. The question was asked once on this thing. Yeah. So 19 chapters, we have 19 questions pretty much. First 3 chapters we know. Now everybody knows these 6 questions. I'm very happy. And this is a prelude introduction to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Even before what Sukadeva Goswami told to Maharaj Parikshit, Suta Goswami gave a trailer summary of the entire Śrīmad Bhāgavatam while answering these 6 questions. And again, 7 questions are asked at the beginning of 4th chapter about the book, about the listener Parikshit Maharaj, about the speaker Sukadeva Goswami. In that, about the book elaborately, this question number 7 is answered. Entire Narada Vyasa episode is told here. And About the listener, this 10th question, this is what we have been discussing. Describe the birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj. So narration of his birth. Before that, prelude to Parikshit's birth, the Ashwadhama's deployment of Brahmastra, Uttara's prayers, Kunti's prayers, Bhishma's instruction, his prayers, all that is answered. Then how did Yudhiṣṭhira conduct himself as a king? This was the question asked. So that is described. Without attachment, as a servant of Krishna, he ruled the kingdom. Then Sutta Goswami went in a ecstatic mode, thinking about Yudhiṣṭhira's separation and then Krishna's send-off from Hastinapura and Krishna's welcome in Dwaraka. So the sages reminded him again about birth and activities and the glorious departure of Parikshit. He came back in 12th chapter and he answered birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj, birth of Parikshit Maharaj and astrologer's prediction. Then he had to tell the activities of Parikshit Maharaj. So again, prelude to those activities, as an introduction to those activities, he spoke about Vidura's advice to Dhritarashtra's passing away and completion of Lord Krishna's earthly pastimes and great departure of Pandavas, because then he becomes the king. After that, activities can be described, his rule and activities. That is where we are today. This is the first chapter, 3 parts. First part, Mangalacharana. Second part is a context setting. Sages of Naimisharanya welcome Sutta Goswami and starts hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and the 6 questions are asked. The 4 questions are answered in chapter number 2, and remaining 2 questions are answered here in chapter number 3, and the science of avatars is also explained. So in the 4th chapter, 7 questions are asked, we just discussed, and then Sutta Goswami responds 7th question with a long answer spanning across chapters 4, 5, 6 and part of 7. So 7th question is answered up to the 7th chapter, part 1. And he starts speaking about Parikshit Maharaj's story about the listener. That's when he gives all this background about Ashwadhama kills the sons of Pandavas, Draupadi's lamentations, Arjuna chasing Ashwadhama, Arjuna's prayers to Krishna and Krishna's response to retract the Brahmastra for the first time, and Arjuna arresting Ashwadhama and arguments for killing Ashwadhama, and finally Arjuna cuts Ashwadhama's jewel and hair, and that's when Queen Kunti offers her prayers. Uttara before that also offers prayers, seeks for protection, and Krishna neutralizes the Brahmastra with his Sudarshan Chakra. And finally, when Krishna is leaving, Yudhiṣṭhira is feeling bad. Krishna stayed for some more time. They all went to see Bhishma Dev and many others came. Bhishma Dev consoled Pāṇḍavas, declares Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he answered Yudhiṣṭhira's questions. Finally, he offered beautiful prayers and left his body. After that, here is the question. First time not in chapter 7. About Yudhiṣṭhira question is in chapter 10. He answered briefly in chapter 10. Again, he continued in chapter 12. How did Yudhiṣṭhira rule the kingdom? How did he behave? How he behaved with his citizens, how he behaved with his brothers, how is his attitude, and that is the question. So he started answering in 10 and then later in 12. And then he explained the send-off for Lord Kṛṣṇa and Kuru ladies' glorifications, Krishna's journey to Dwaraka and Krishna's entering Dwaraka and Krishna reciprocating with the citizens, parents, mothers, wives, and then in 12th chapter, birth of Maharaj Parikshit and predictions by astrologers are given. And the 13th chapter, Narada explained the disappearance of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra leaves home and Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj was lamenting, and Narada Muni comes and explains Dhritarashtra's whereabouts, and he consoles Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaja. And Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj's suspicion on seeing the omens. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj was speculating that Krishna might have left. That's why all these are happening. He has seen on the earth and on his body as well as in the sky the bad omens. And Arjuna comes back finally he was questioning Arjuna, why are you sad, and asking various reasons. And today Arjuna is prepared to respond to Yudhiṣṭhira's queries, and Arjuna announces the disappearance of Krishna. He broke the bad news, and he says that he recounts Krishna's protective pastimes. Arjuna meditates on Krishna and regains steadiness. He remembers the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. And Yudhiṣṭhira finally prepared for retirement, and Kunti Devi departs. And Pāṇḍavas and Draupadi retire timely and ascend to the spiritual world. That's when this chapter ends. And also Parikshit is coronated before they went. That is the key of this chapter, so that next Parikshit's activities are described. Suta Uvacha Evam Krishna Sakha Krishno Bhratra Ragnya Vikalpitaha Nana Shankaspadam Rupam Krishna Vishlesha Karshitaha. Suta Goswami said, Evam Krishna Sakha Krishno Bhratra Ragnya Vikalpitaha. Arjuna is Krishna Sakha, the celebrated friend of Lord Kṛṣṇa, was grief-stricken because of his strong feeling of separation from Krishna. Krishna Vishlesha Karshitaha. Over and above all, Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira's speculative inquiries, Nana Shankaspadam Rupam Bhratra Ragnya Vikalpitaha. Vikalpita literally means speculation. Prabhupada says that Yudhiṣṭhira is speculating. Why are you sad? Why everything is bad happening? Why is like this? Why is like this? And finally, he's thinking maybe whatever Narada Muni said, that time has come. Maybe Krishna departed. That is why you must be like this. Everything must be like this. So finally, he was preparing to answer. Shokena sushyadvadana Hritsarojo hataprabha Vibhum tam yevanusmaran Nashaknot pratibhashitum. Due to grief, Arjuna's mouth and lotus-like heart had dried up. The same situation was also there before the Kurukshetra war. Like before the Bhagavad Gita is spoken. Arjuna is exactly in the same situation. He cried few other times also. He had grief few other times also. When Abhimanyu was killed. When some of the other people were killed, and some other times. But this situation is exactly like Bhagavad Gita. Vibhum tam evanusma hataprabha. His body lost all luster. Now, remembering the Supreme Lord, he could hardly utter a word in reply. Vibhum tam evanusmaran nashaknot pratibhashitum. He was not able to answer. He wanted to answer because Yudhiṣṭhira was kept on asking his brother, his master, his lord, the king. Yeah. But he was not able to answer. He was remembering Krishna. Vibhum tam evanusmar. He was trying to be composed and trying to answer. Krishrena samstabhya suchaha Paninam rujjanetrayo Parokshena samunnadha Pranayautkantya-kātaraha. Pranaya means affection. Pranayautkantya-kātaraha. And he increasingly felt affection for him, and he was distressed because of separation from Lord Kṛṣṇa. He wanted to respond, but he was not in a position to respond. He was checking his tears, he was wiping his tears, and he was remembering Kṛṣṇa. He was trying to become composed. He was trying to answer the questions. Sakhyam maitram sauhrudam cha Saratyadishu samsmaran Nrupamagrajamittyaha Bhashpagadgadaya gira. remembering Lord Kṛṣṇa and his well-wishes, benefactions, intimate familial relations, and his chariot driving, Sakhyam Maitram Sahurdam Cha Saratyadishu Samsmaran, Arjuna, overwhelmed and breathing very heavily, began to speak. Bhashpa Gadgadaya Gira Ityaha. He said like this to whom? Nrupam Agrajam, his elder brother, the king, Yudhiṣṭhira. He told. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is saying, there is a difference between Sakhyam, Maitram and Sauhurdam. What is that? Anybody knows? Sakhyam means what? Friendship, Sakyarasa, everybody knows. In Sakhyam, there is equality. On equal level, friends, equal level. Maitram, he says, Maitri, he says, is Sakhyam plus Dasyam. There is a favor. Friendship is there, but also Dasyam, an element of Dasyam is there, and there is a reverence, respect as a servant. Sauhrudam, he says, Sakhyam plus Vatsalyam is there with Vatsalya. Like Balrama is like this, Sauhrudam. So he remembered all these situations. Sakhyam, Maitrim, Sauhrudam cha. Krishna expressing, Krishna demonstrating Sakhyam, Maitrim, Sauhrudam cha. Sometimes with Vatsalya, sometimes as a servant. That's why he became charioteer, a messenger for Pāṇḍavas. He became advisor, counselor, and friendship. He remembered. Especially remembered this wonderful pastime, Saratyadishu Samsmaran, how actually Krishna became his charioteer. Yeah. And then he's telling, take it, take it. And another Acharya says, in the war, how the instruction is given to Sarathi. Do you know? Anybody knows?
By kicking with feet.
By kicking with the feet. Because on the sound, it will not be audible. What the person on the chariot is saying to charioteer. So you kick with your left hand, that means go left. You kick with your right hand, the Sarathi, you go right. So that is the service Krishna had done for Arjuna. So he's remembering all this and is overwhelmed with grief. Finally, still he was not able to control. Bhashpa Gadgadaya Gira, even the tears incessantly flowing like rain. And he spoke with choking heart, breathing very heavily. Arjuna Uvacha Vanchitoham Mahāraja Harina Bandhurupina Yena me pahritam tejo Deva Vismapanam Maha Vanchitoham. Vanchita means cheating. Vanchitoham Mahāraja Harina Bandhurupina. I have been cheated by Lord Kṛṣṇa. In the sense, Krishna abandoned us. Krishna left us. Vanchitoham Mahāraja Harina Bandhurupina. All acharyas are saying the meaning abandoned. Krishna abandoned us. Our relative Krishna abandoned us. Yena me apahritam tejo deva vismapanam mahat. As soon as Krishna left, my tejas, my energy, my prowess, that is also gone. Apahritam, that is taken away. Deva vismapanam mahat. Because of this astounding power, I was able to astonish the devatas. I was able to delight Lord Shiva. I was able to protect the devatas by killing Nivata Kavachas on the request of Indra. I was able to get Pasupatastra by delighting Lord Shiva. I was able to get so many astras for so many devatas. My energy is gone. My luster is gone. My prowess is gone. My life is gone. When Krishna left, Vanchitoham Mahāraja Harina Bandhurupina Yene me pahritam tejo deva vismapanam mahat. He said, he treated me exactly like an intimate friend has left me alone. Actually, Prabhupada takes opportunity to teach Mahabharata in this entire chapter. All the purports are the story of Mahabharata. And in the previous, some of the previous chapters also, like in 7th and few other places, he takes each character, like Kunti Devi he introduces, Karna introduces, Gandhari introduces, and whatever name comes, he says, the story from Mahabharata, he narrates. So, actually, Prabhupada taught Mahabharata also to the purports of Bhagavatam. Yeah. Yasya kshana viyogena loko hya priyadarshanaha uktena rahito hyesha mrutaka prochate yatha. I have just lost him, whose separation for a moment would render all the universes unfavorable and void, like bodies without life. Yasya kshana viyogena loke hapriya darshanaha uktena rahito hyesha mrutakaha prochate yatha. All the universes unfavorable and void, without his separation for a moment from him, it likes that. Now he's not there. He left to his abode, and I am not able to tolerate the separation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, what is that verse he says in Shastakam? Yugayitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrushaitam sunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahename. So he says one nimesha is becoming one yuga. Arjuna is saying one chana. Also like that previously, even the gopis, they were also saying like this. And Krishna's wives are also saying like that. They were not able to tolerate separation from Krishna. Yas samshaya drupada geha mupagatanam Ragnam swayamvara mukhe smara durmadanam Tejo hrutam khalu maya bihatascha matsyaha Sajji krutena dhanushadhigata cha Krishna. Arjuna remembering all the protective pastimes, and Srila Prabhupada narrated the story of Mahabharata, the major instance in his purports. Only by his merciful strength, yet samshayat, was I able to vanquish all the lusty princes assembled at the palace of King Drupada for the selection of the bridegroom. With my bow and arrow, I could pierce the fish target and thereby gain the hand of Draupadi. It is because of Krishna I was able to get Draupadi. I was able to conquer all the lusty princes who came to the Draupadi Swayamvara. It is because of Krishna. Seeing the reflection in the moving water, I was able to pierce the Matsya Yantra, which is set as a precondition to get Draupadi. There were only two people in the world who can do that. Who are the two people?
Arjuna and Karna.
Arjuna and Karna. Why Karna could not do that?
As they thought that he was not from a Kshatriya lineage.
Who told that?
Krishna
Draupadi said that. I only want Kshatriya and above. I will not marry to others. Yeah. After that, yes.
Krishna also did a Matsya before Arjuna, right?
Krishna also did a Matsya Yantra before. At least Krishna's episode is not there.
No, it is mentioned somewhere.
Hmm.
I think Lakshana or one of the wives.
Wife of his done. Yeah, Krishna was able to do, but here, this is what it is. Krishna didn't participate. Draupadi is his sister. Yeah, it's just like sometimes asking like that, why it is with others. Yeah, somebody was asking me the question the other day. Why Drishtadyumna did not participate in this thing? She's sister. Yeah. So when we mean in that Swayamvara, the two people, Karna and Arjuna. It is Draupadi who says that, eliminating Karna. And Arjuna comes in the disguise of a Brahmana. Initially, everybody thought, who is this person? Because their dress and other things were different. And also they had seen them some time back. So not, he was immediately recognized, but after he fought, people recognized that it is Arjuna. So he was remembering that past time. Because of you, I was able to get Draupadi. Yes, sannidavaham tu kandavamagnayedam Indram cha samaraganam tarasa vijitya Labdha sabhamaya kritadbhuta shilpamaya Digbhyo haran nrupatayo balimadvarete Yet sannidhavaham tu. Because he was near me, it was possible for me to conquer with great dexterity the powerful king of heaven, Indradeva. Arjuna fought with Indra. Why Arjuna fought with Indra?
While the Khanda one was being destroyed.
Yeah, while the Khanda one was being destroyed. Yeah, and Indra was the other side. Along with his demigod associates, and thus enabled the fire god to devastate the Khandava forest. The Agni had to devour the Khandava forest. Then only he will come out of his health issue. Yeah. And only by his grace was the demon named Maya saved from the blazing Khandava forest. And thus we could build our assembly house of wonderful architectural workmanship, where all the princes assembled during the performance of Rajasuya, Yajna and paid you tributes. Because of Krishna, I was able to defeat Indra. Because of Krishna, I was able to protect, I was able to satisfy Agni. Because of Krishna, I was able to give shelter to Maya. In fact, Krishna wants Maya to be killed also. Prabhupada writes in the purport, Krishna wants Maya Danava to be killed. He didn't want to give protection to Maya because he's from the demonic family. But Arjuna gave. Once Arjuna gave shelter, Krishna is happy with him. Maya Danava asked him, what can I do for you? You saved me. What did Arjuna ask? What did Arjuna ask? Nothing. Then Krishna only told him, better you build a palace for them. That's what is Maya Sabha. We know because of that only actually all the problems came. When Duryodhana and party came, they thought that give something to Pandavas, like give half of the kingdom. Okay, I will give half. But which half? Not Hastinapura, not where all these palaces are there, not there, everything very nice place. I will give him the deserted place. They gave this Khandava Prastha. And when Duryodhana thought that when he was invited, it will be like very, very inferior thing. When he went, that he was really thrilled. And what was the service given to Duryodhana in Rajasuya? What was the service given to Rajasuya? What was the service?
Accepting gifts from
Accepting gifts. Yeah. And also receiving the guests, accepting gifts and giving this thing also. Then he saw that how much gold. This is not at all comparable to what I have. This is so much excess. Then all the problems started. So it is because of the Rajasuya, after all the kings were defeated, they came, they saw how Yudhiṣṭhira is the emperor, how rich and glorious he is, and they paid tributes. It's all because of Krishna. Yatte jasan ripasirongra mahan makartham Aryo nujastava gajayuta sattva viryaha Tena hrita pramatanatha makaya bhupa Yanmochitastadanayan balimadvarete. He says, your respectable younger brother. Yeah. Who is his respectable younger brother? Aryo Anujaha. That is Bhima. Who possesses the strength of 10,000 elephants. Gajayuta Sattva Viryaha. Killed by his grace Jarasandha, whose feet were worshipped by many kings. These kings had been brought for sacrifice in Jarasandha's Mahabhairava Yajna, but they were thus released. Later they paid tribute to your majesty. Jarasandha and Narakasura, both captured. Narakasura captured 16,000 girls and Jarasandha captured many kings. Why Jarasandha captured? Because he wanted to give them as offering to Kalabhairava. And Jarasandha is actually the leader of all the demonic kings, including Kamsa. What is the relation between Kamsa and Jarasandha? Brother-in-law. Father-in-law.
Father-in-law.
Yeah. And he is Kamsa's father-in-law. So, these kings had been brought for sacrifice in Jarasandha's Mahabhairava Yajna, but they were thus released. Later they paid tribute to your majesty. All those kings were released because of Krishna. Because Krishna empowered Bhima, he was able to kill Jarasandha and protect of them. All of them also paid tribute to you and they accepted you as an emperor. It is all because of Krishna. Yat tejasan rupasirongri mahanmakartham patnyastavadhimaka klupta mahabhisheka shlagishta charu kabaram kitavai sabhayam sprishtam vikirya padayo patitashru mukhya yastat striyo kruta hatesha vimukta kesha. It was he only who loosened the hair of all the wives of the miscreants, who dared open the cluster of your queen's hair, which had been nicely dressed and sanctified for the great Rajasuya sacrificial ceremony. At that time, she fell down at the feet of Lord Kṛṣṇa with tears in her eyes. He was remembering how, because of Krishna, Draupadi was protected. Because Draupadi had, Prabhupada says that she had a beautiful long hair, and Dusyasana was dragged Draupadi by her hair. And who is that one wicked person who encouraged Dusyasana to do that? Who is that? Karna. Everybody thinks he's hero. N.T. Ramarao protected him as a hero, but he is a villain. He said, and one more thing he said, accept a sixth husband right now, because your 5 husbands are not able to protect you. Somebody else here will protect. Yeah, that's what Karna said. So it is Karna actually who asked Dusyasana, Prabhupada writes in the purport, that you take the clothes of the Pandavas. Then Dusyasana took all the upper portion of their upper clothes, Uttariya, he removed from the Pandavas. They gave. Then he told, Karna encouraged Dusyasana to remove Draupadi's clothes, because now she's a maid servant. So he was a villain. Because he did like that, Krishna made sure that all the wives of all the Kauravas, their hair is loosened. When the hair is loosened traditionally, when widows, for widows only it will be done. So that means he made all of them widows because Draupadi was insulted. The other day I said, this is Krishna's Operation Sindur. Yeah, he behaved like that with Draupadi and this thing. And when he's telling, he's not telling our wife. She's telling your queen, your wife. Why Arjuna is saying like that? Because he's eldest, not because of that. When she is 1 year, Draupadi is with one husband. Yeah. and all others will treat her like that only. Anyway, she's the queen. So he says there is nothing wrong in saying she's queen, but nobody addressed like my wife in this thing. Whenever their discussion comes, when 1 year she was with the Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, 1 year with his Bhima, 1 year with his Arjuna, like that. So according to the context, they're speaking. And that same Draupadi, he was remembering, she was dressed and sanctified for the great Rajasuya sacrificial ceremony. She did the Avabhruta, Snana. Yudhiṣṭhira and Draupadi, they performed this Rajasuya, which nobody else has done at their time. Yeah, nobody else has done. Only Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj was able to do. And later when Draupadi was insulted, it is showed that Krishna actually was there personally, because she fell down at the feet of Krishna with tears in her eyes. Some acharyas is telling it's mentally. Krishna is there, but it happened mentally. Some are saying no, actually Krishna came. Other people could not see, but Draupadi could see that. Yeah, he came and he protected, because he says yoga kshemam vahamyam. I protect my devotees personally, aham, personally. So Krishna came. At that time, she fell down at the feet of Lord Krishna with tears in her eyes. And he was with Rukmini. But he had these tears of Draupadi in his feet. Instantly, he manifested in Hastinapur and saved her. Yo no jugopa vanayetya duranta kritsrat durvasasori rachitad ayutagra bhugyaha Shakannasistamupayujya yatastrilokim Trupta mamamsta salile vinimagna sangaha. When they were in Vanavasa, Durvasa Muni came. Why Durvasa Muni came? Anybody?
Was sent by Duryodhana.
He was sent by Duryodhana. Why Duryodhana was sending Durvasa Muni? Because Pandavas cannot feed. He says, he knows that they had Akshay Patra. But one condition, after Draupadi takes her lunch, there is that day no other food can be produced from the Akshay Patra. But he told that go after Draupadi takes her meal after the noon time. Okay, Durvasa went. How many disciples Durvasa had? 10,000 people. When they came and they didn't know what to do for lunch, it's already done. Immediately, Draupadi was praying to Lord Kṛṣṇa and Krishna came. Krishna personally came. Again, Yogakshemam Mahamyam. He was there in the scene. And she said, nothing can be done today. What can I do? He said, bring that Akshay Patra. He thought that somewhere, some palak, dal, shakannam is there, one morsel. Krishna takes that. Because as soon as Krishna took that one morsel of food, all the three worlds and everybody, including Durvasa and his 10,000 disciples, they were all feeling like that, completely full, satisfied. Now if we go and take, like, no, we cannot accept this prasada of Yudhiṣṭhira and reception, they all ran away. Yeah. By his accepting food thus, the assembly of Munis, while bathing in the water, felt sumptuously fed, and all the three worlds were also satisfied. If Krishna is satisfied, everybody is satisfied. If you pour water on the root, that is Krishna, all the branches, trees, all the branches, all the twigs, and all the flowers, all the fruits, everything will be satisfied, nourished. This is the example. So Krishna came and saved us from the disaster. Generally Durvasa cursed. We could have been cursed by Durvasa. Yatte jasata bhagavan yudhishula panihi vismapitassa girijostra madani jamme Anyepi chaha mamunaiva kalevarena Prapto Mahendra Bhavane Mahadasanardham. It was by his influence only that in a fight I was able to astonish the personality of God, Lord Shiva, and his wife, Sagirijaha, the daughter of Mount Himalaya. Because of him only, with my fight, I was able to astonish Lord Shiva. Prabhupada says one point here. He says that there are devotees of Devatas, there are devotees of Krishna. The devotees of Krishna know the power of the Devatas. But the devotees of Devatas, they consider Krishna is one of the Devata and he is not Supreme Lord. That is a problem. Yeah. Arjuna knew how great Lord Shiva is there. Shulapani is called here. Thus he became pleased with me and awarded me his own weapon. Astram Adan Nijamme. What is the Astram called?
Pashupata.
Pashupatastram that he gave. And other Devatas also delivered their respective weapons to me. And in addition, I was able to reach the heavenly planet in this present body and was allowed a half elevated seat. It is not half elevated seat. It is half of the asana. Mahad asanardham. Because in the same King Indra's seat, along with Indra, half place is given to Arjuna. Mahad asanardham. Half place was given to Arjuna. That means he was seated on Indra's asana in the Devaloka. Prabhupada also says this, that with self same body, like no, people cannot go to Indraloka. Only after this life, people go to Urdhvalokas, like Indraloka, Chandraloka and all. But Arjuna was able to go. All this because of whom? Because of Lord Kṛṣṇa. He was remembering the protective pastimes. Tatraiva me viharato bhujadanda yugmam Gandiva lakshana marati vadhaya deva Sendra shritaya danubhavita majamida Tenaha madhya mushita purushena bhumna. When I stayed for some days as a guest in the heavenly planets, all the heavenly devatas, including King Indra Deva, took shelter of my arms, which were marked with the Gandiva board to kill the demons named Nivata Kavachas. O King, descendant of Ajamedha, at the present moment, I am bereft of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose influence I was so powerful. You know how powerful I was because of the influence of Krishna. I was able to give protection to Indra, my father. I was able to give protection to all the Devatas by killing the Nivata Kavachas. But now, I am bereft of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose influence I was so powerful. I have no power. Prabhupada tells again and again and again. He says, he is bringing this 10th chapter verse. What is that verse in 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Yad yad vibhuti matsatvam shrimadurjitam eva va tattad evava gachatvam mama tejomsa sambhavam. Whatever great, whatever opulent, whatever majestic, everything is but the spark of the splendor of my energy. So if you have any power, that is due to me. If anybody has any power, that is due to me. I had the power because of Krishna. Now I lost all my power because Krishna left. So Prabhupada says one should not be puffed up with the so-called power and opulence one had. It can be withdrawn by the Supreme Personality of Godhead any time. Of course, Arjuna was not puffed up, but Prabhupada is reminding us to do that. Give him mic. Here's question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, generally we are said that if we have any problem or anything, we have to depend on Krishna. But here we can see that Arjuna, he's getting many weapons. And it looks like it is directly he's not depending on Krishna. It looks like. So how do we understand?
He was telling I got all these things because of the influence of Krishna. Yet Tejasa, by his influence only, I was able to get the weapons, I was able to fight. Arjuna is very clear that he was able to do all these things by the mercy of Krishna. He did not get, because he's not considering that he got it because of his own strength. Because of Krishna, I was able to please Shiva. Because of Krishna, I was able to please Indra. Because of them, they had given the weapons to me. So Arjuna is very clear. He is completely depending on Krishna only. Yes. Keep some questions for the end. Only related question. Yeah. Yes, please tell me.
Durvasa Rishi was a Trikaldarshi.
Hmm.
So, and Duryodhana sent Durvasa Rishi to Pandavas with ill motives. Then, and Durvasa was also Shiva, Lord Shiva,
Okay.
devotee of Krishna. So still, why he went to Pandava?
Why Durvasa Muni went to Pandavas? Because Duryodhana pleased him. Lord Shiva is easily pleased. Asutosha. Somebody says something, whether it is good or bad for him, for everybody, Lord Shiva first does and then thinks. Yeah. So he requested and he went. That's how it is told. And the point here is not what Duryodhana thought, what Durvasa did. The point here is that how at the time of difficulty, Krishna came personally and protected. That is what Arjuna is remembering. Yad bandhavak kuru balabdim anantaparam eko rathena tatareha matirya sattvam pratyahritam bahudanam cha maya paresham Tejaspatam manimayam cha hrutam shirobhyaha. The military strength of the Kauravas was like an ocean in which there dwelled many invincible existences, and thus it was insurmountable. Bhagavad Gita also somebody says this. Who said this? Aparyaptam balam Bhishmabhirakshitam Paryaptam balam Tridametesham balam Bhimabhirakshitam. Duryodhana says like this. Of course, Acharyas give two different interpretations there, but Arjuna takes Duryodhana's interpretation. He is agreeing with Duryodhana. The military strength of the Kauravas was like an ocean in which there dwelled many invincible existences, and thus it was irremounceable. But because of his friendship, I seated on chariot was able to cross over it. It was like an ocean. The Kaurava army, the 11 Akshohinis of the Kaurava army was like an ocean. I was able to cross over it because of friendship with Krishna. And only by his grace was I able to regain the cows and to collect by force many helmets of the kings which were bedecked with jewels that were source of all brilliance. He was recounting another pastime in the Virata kingdom because Duryodhana and Parthi had to find where Pandavas are there in Ajñātavasa. If they find Pandavas, they had to do again 12 years Aranyavasa, 1 year Ajñātavasa. So that was also happening in Purushottam month. Yeah. He said that Purushottam month was over. So the time is over. They thought still some time is there to find out. The only way to find out where Pandavas are there or not there in the kingdom, you attack the kingdom. Because they will come to support the king and protect the citizens. So they stole the cows of Virata, and we know the story. So all the people, Arjuna went there as a charioteer for Uttara Kumara and defeated all these people. And in fact, he put something called, invoked something called Mohanastra. Everybody fell. And then he took the jewels and other things from their helmets. And it's all possible because of this thing. See, everybody says like, no, Karna was not defeated and Bhishma was not defeated. Actually, Karna, Bhishma, everybody defeated by Arjuna in this pastime already much before the Kurukshetra war. So no doubt that Arjuna is superior to all these people in fighting. Yo Bhishma Karna Guru Shalya Chamushvadabra Rajanya Varya Ratamandala Manditasu Agre Charo Mama Vibho Rathayuthapanam Ayurmanam Sichadrusha Sahavoja Archat. It was he only, he withdrew the duration of life from everyone, and who in the battlefield withdrew the speculative power and strength of enthusiasm from the great military phalanx made by the Kauravas, headed by Bhishma, Karna, Drona, Selya, etc. Their arrangement were expert and more than adequate. But he, Lord Kṛṣṇa, while going forward, did all this because Kṛṣṇa looked at their ayush was taken out. Ayur manam sicha drisha saha oja archat. Because of Kṛṣṇa's presence, their enthusiasm is gone. Because Kṛṣṇa's blowing of the conch shell, their hearts are shattered. Because of Kṛṣṇa's plan, they are all doomed. It is because of Kṛṣṇa that I was able to defeat all these people, Bhishma, Karna, Drona, Shalya, etc. Yaddoshuma pranihitam Guru Bhishma Karna Naptrutrigarta Shalya Saindava Bāhlikadyai Astranyamogha Mahimani Nirupitani Nopaspurunharidasa Mivasurani. Who is Nriharidasam? Narahari, Nrisimhadasa. Prahlada. Just like Hiranyakashipu threw so many astras and so many things at Prahlada. Prahlada was saved by Narsimha. Similarly, so many these people, Guru means Drona, Bhishma, Karna, Trigarta, Selya, and Saindava, Bāhlika, and many others threw many weapons. Not even one was able to injure me. Only one astra of Karna removed the helmet of Arjuna. Arjuna was not bleeding. Who was bleeding? Kṛṣṇa is bleeding. Why was he bleeding? He's standing many times when something is thrown at Arjuna and protecting Arjuna from behind. That is the scene that Bhishma saw, that his body, his armor is broken, his Uttaraya is gone, and he actually, body is bleeding and he's perspiring. He was in anxiety to protect Arjuna. He took the Ratha Chakra and he's coming running and to kill Bhishma. Bhishma was remembering that sight of Partha Sarathi, who is the protector of Arjuna. His Vatsalyata, Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala, and Bhishma could see that. In fact, Prabhupada says that Arjuna could not see that. Bhishma only saw that. Why? Arjuna is behind, Bhishma is in front, like that. So he's selling. So because similarly, Mahārāja Maharaja, the supreme devotee of Lord Narasimha, was unaffected by the weapons of demons used against him. I was protected by Lord Kṛṣṇa. The weapons of the great generals like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Bhurishrava, Susharma, Shalya, Jayadratha, and Bāhlika, they're all directed their weapons and they could not do anything to me. Sautye Vritak Kumatinat Sautye Vritak Kumatinatmada Ishvaro me Yat Pada Padmama Bhavaya Bhajanti Bhavya Mam Shantavaha Marayo Ratino Bhuvistham Na praharan yadanubhava nirasta chitta. It was by his mercy only that my enemies neglected to kill me when I descended from my chariot to get water for my thirsty horses. And it was due to my lack of esteem for my Lord that I dared engage him as my chariot driver, for he is worshipped and offered services by the best men to attain salvation. See, as Arjuna was thinking, like no, he was getting into the Dasya Bhava. He's remembering, he's forgetting the Sakya Rasa, and this thing. It happened in when Krishna showed Vishwarupa also, he was suddenly asking forgiveness. Yeah. He's telling, it was by his mercy only, when I was down the chariot also, people were not able to throw their arrows at me, because Krishna, looking at them, confused them. And he took away their enthusiasm when Arjuna is giving water to the horses. Narmanyudara ruchirasmita sobhitani He Partha he Arjuna sakhe kurunandaneti Sanjalpitani naradeva hridisprushani Smartur lutanti hridayam mama madhavasya. He was remembering how Krishna addressed him. O king, his joking and frank talks were pleasing and beautifully decorated with smiles. Gopis also said like this. Yeah. Valguvasaya. His addresses unto me as, O son of Pritha, O friend, O son of the Kuru dynasty, O Partha, O Arjuna Sakha, O Kurunandana, and all such heartiness are now remembered by me. Smartur lutanti hrudayam mama madhavasya. And thus I was overwhelmed when I remembered how Krishna called me, Hey Partha, Hey Kurunandana, Hey Arjuna, Hey Sakha, Hey friend. My heart breaks and I'm overwhelmed, he's saying. Seyyasanatana vikattana bhojanadishu Aikyat vayasya ritavan iti vipralabdaha Sakhyus sakeva pitruvattanayasya sarvam Sehe mahan mahitaya kumatera ghamme. Oh my brother, you know, we both lived together, we slept together, we sat together, we dined together, we loitered together. And at the time of advertising oneself for the acts of chivalry, sometimes if there were any irregularity, I used to reproach him by saying, my friend, you are very truthful. Even in those hours when his value was minimized, he being the Supreme Soul used to tolerate all those utterings of mine, excusing me exactly as a true friend excuses his true friend, or a father excuses his son. Arjuna had the same feeling in the Vishwarupa after Krishna Association. Was telling that you forgive me as the father forgives son, as a friend forgives friend, as a husband forgives wife, you forgive me. He's also saying like that. Sometimes Arjuna used to tell Krishna that when in their friendship, oh, my friend, you are very truthful. Means if Krishna is late by coming few minutes or something, it was not done by Krishna on time. He said, oh, you are very truthful. He's mocking at Krishna. He's remembering that even when I was mocking at him, he, though he is Supreme Soul, Super Soul of everybody, Supreme Personality of Godhead, he tolerated all that and forgave me like son and a friend. Soham Rupendra Rahita Purushottamena Sakhya Priyena Suhruda Hrudayena Sunyaha Advanyurukrama Parigraha Mangarakshan Gopaira Sadbhira Baleva Vinirjitosmi. O Nrupendra, O Emperor, now I am separated from my friend and dear most well-wisher, Purushottama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore my heart appears to be void of everything. In his absence, I have been defeated by a number of infidel cowherd men while I was guarding the bodies of all the wives of Krishna. He told that, you asked me earlier, was I defeated by some inferior people? Yes, that is also true now. I was defeated by some cowherd boys while I was guarding the wives of Krishna. Some of the wives of Krishna are kidnapped by these cowherd boys. I was not able to protect them. First of all, the Dwaraka, the wives of Krishna, are the energies of Lakshmi. How can they be touched by some ordinary cowherd boys? The secret is revealed. Anybody knows? Anyone knows the secret? Huh? It is Krishna himself. Why Krishna himself came like that? There was a curse. Prabhupada says that these heavenly society girls, actually some of them, they became wives of Krishna. Some gopis also became wives of Krishna, it is told. So, they, because of the blessings of Ashtavakra Muni, they got Krishna as their husband. They got the boon. But then one day they laughed at Ashtavakra Muni because his body is little awkward. So they laughed at him. He was upset with them and said that, yeah, you get married to the Lord, but you will also be stolen by some cowherd boys. Then again they said, how is that possible? Please forgive us our mistake. And they prayed. They said, okay. He forgave them. So Krishna only came just to fulfill Ashtavakra Muni's curse to them. He came like that as cowherd boys, and this thing Arjuna didn't know. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is telling from Brahma Purana and Vishnu Purana, I guess. And Prabhupada also mentions in his purport. So that way, his body is their Krishna's property, Krishna's personal energy cannot be touched by any wicked people. Tadvaidanusta ishavasarato hayaste soham rathi nrupatayo yata anamanti sarvam kshanena tadabhuda sadishariktam Basman hutam kuhakaradda mivoptamushyam. Now Krishna left. I have the very same Kandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot, drawn by the same horses. I am the same Arjuna to whom all the kings offered their respect. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them at a moment's notice, that means with no notice, have become null and void. Now the great Arjuna has become powerless, useless. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, basmam hutam, accumulating money with a magic wand, kuhaka raddam, ivoptamushyam, are sowing seeds on barren land. I have become now null and void. All my energies are gone. With Gandiva bow and the arrows, I was able to delight Lord Shiva and protect the Devatas. I was able to defeat many great generals. But today, I was not able to save Krishna's wives from the ordinary cowherd boys. Rajam stvayanu prishtanam Suhrudamna suhrutpure Viprashapa vimodhanam Nignatam mushtibhirmitaha Varunim madiram pitva Madonmatita chetasam Ajanatam ivanyonyam Chetupanchavasheshita. The other day, Vipin Prabhu asked, How many Yadavas survived? Answer is here. Chetu Panchavasheshita, except 4 or 5. That means 4 or 5 survived. I know one is Uddhava. And also definitely Vajranabha. He is the son of Aniruddha or grandson of Aniruddha? Son. Vajranabha. Grandson. Yeah. O king, since you have asked me about our friends and relatives in the city of Dwaraka, I will inform you that all of them were cursed by the Brahmanas. And as a result, they all became intoxicated with wine made of putrefied rice and fought among themselves with sticks, not even recognizing one another. Now all but 4 or 5 of them are dead and gone. Everybody is gone. How they are gone? They fought with each other. Can you believe that? Like how the Dwarakavasis can kill each other? It is all Krishna's plan, he says in the later verses. Prayenaitat bhagavata Ishvarasya vicheshtitam mito nignanti bhutani bhavayanti chayannitaha. Factually, this is all due to the supreme will of the Lord. Ishvarasya vicheshtitam prayenaitat bhagavata, the personality of Godhead. Ishvarasya vicheshtitam. Sometimes people kill one another and other times they protect one another. Mito nignanti bhutani bhavayanti chayanmita. Material world, sometimes people are friends, sometimes enemies, they kill each other. That is all right. But here, it is astonishing because it is the plan of the Lord, because they are eternal associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, great devotees. How can they kill each other? It is His plan. Jalaukasam jale yadvan Mahanto Dantyaniya Saha Durlaban Balino Rajan Mahanto Balino Mitaha Evam Balishtairyadubihi Mahadbiritaran Vibuhu Yadun Yadubiranyonyam Bhubharan Sanjaharaha. O king, as in the ocean, the bigger and stronger aquatics swallow up the smaller and weaker ones, so also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to lighten the burden of the earth, has engaged the stronger Yadu to kill the weaker and the bigger Yadu to kill the smaller. Can we believe this? No. Are Yadus the burden on the earth? Vishnu Chakra Thakur says, no, they are ornaments to earth. Earth never complained because I have a problem with Yadus. They are ornaments to earth. But the Lord withdrew. And the other meaning is given is that there is a Devata portion also into this eternal Dwarakavasi forms. And when Krishna sent these Devatas back to the heavenly planets, and the Lord's personal associates went to the eternal Vaikunta planet, Vaikunta Hastinapura. They all went. So, he actually reduced the bhara, in one sense, of Narayana, because he sent back all the plenary portions back to their jobs, and also all the devatas to do their administration. Yeah. Deshakalartha yuktani tapopashamani cha haranti smaratas chittam Govinda pihitani me. Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of Godhead, Govinda, because they are impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heat in all circumstances of time and space. Now I am remembering Bhagavad Gita, all the chapters. I am realizing, I am remembering those things, because by only remembering Krishna's words, Krishna's instructions, the Gita, I will, the burning heat, there will be relief from the burning heat. Suta uvacha evam chintayato jishno Krishna pada saroruham sauhardenati ghadena shantasid vimalamatihi. If your heart is burning, if your heart is agitated, if your mind is disturbed, if your body is trembling, if you are confused, recite Bhagavad Gita. Remember Bhagavad Gita. It is practical realization of Arjuna also. Suta Goswami said, thus being deeply absorbed in thinking of the instructions of the Lord, the Bhagavad Gita, which were imparted in the great intimacy of friendship, and thinking of his lotus feet, Arjuna's mind became pacified and free from all material contamination. One will give up all kinds of anarthas. One will give up all kinds of contamination. One becomes pure instantly as one chant and remember Bhagavad Gita. That's why recitation, translation is all right, but the recitation is also very important. Vasudevangra nujjana Paribrumhitaram hasa Bhaktya nirmatita shesha Kasaya dhishanorjunaha. Arjuna's constant remembrance of the lotus feet of Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa rapidly increased his devotion, and as a result, all the trash in his thoughts subsided. Arjuna remembered Bhagavad Gita first. He was remembering, reciting, and remembering Krishna's beautiful form. Yeah. Tatya samsmrutya rupam atyadbhutam hare. Sanjay is telling afterwards that he increased his devotion by remembering at the lotus feet of the Lord, and as a result, all the trash in his thoughts is subsided. He became peaceful. Geetam Bhagavata Jnanam Yattat Sangrama Murdhani Kala Karma Tamoruddham Punaradhyagamat Prabhu. Because of the Lord's pastimes and activities, and because of his absence, it appeared that Arjuna forgot the instructions left by the personality of Godhead. But factually, this was not the case, and again he became Lord of his senses. It appears that Arjuna forgot Bhagavad Gita. But that is not true, Prabhupada is saying. Even though one knew Bhagavad Gita, even though one realized Bhagavad Gita, even the great souls sometimes carried away by emotions. But the difference between devotees and others is that other people will not be able to come out of the situations. But the devotees can come because Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Krishna says, my devotees will not perish. And also it is said that in one time, if devotee has taken shelter of the Lord, Lord will protect. Also, Krishna is from Krishna, Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanam cha. From Krishna, this knowledge, forgetfulness is coming. The knowledge and remembrance is coming from Krishna. He gives the remembrance. So Arjuna, after remembering Geetam Bhagavata Jnanam, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, he was pacified. Punar Adhyagamat Prabhu. He became Prabhu of his senses and he controlled his senses. Vishoko Brahma Sampatya Sanchinnadvaita Samshayaha Leena Prakriti Nairgunyat Alingatvat Asambhavaha. Because of his possessing spiritual assets, the doubts of duality were completely cut off. Thus he was freed from the three modes of material nature and placed in transcendence. There was no longer any chance of his becoming entangled in birth and death, for he is freed from the material form. Leena Prakriti Nairgunyat Alingatvad Asambhavaha. So he was able to come out of the situation. He was able to come out of the influence of the gunas. Actually, there was no influence of gunas in Arjuna. Arjuna was taken as an example to tell us that one can come out of the most difficult situation in life also by remembering Krishna and by remembering his instructions, the Bhagavad Gita. Nishamya Bhagavan Margam Samstam Yadukulasya cha Swapataya Matim Chakre Nibrutatma Yudhiṣṭhira. upon hearing of Lord Krishna's returning to his abode and upon understanding the end of the Yadu dynasty's earthly manifestation, Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira decided to go back home, back to Godhead. So Yudhiṣṭhira thought that he heard all these things from Arjuna. He decided to go back home, back to Godhead. Light is not required, just only have mic. Prutapyanushrutya dhananjayoditam nasam yadunam bhagavad gatim chatam ekanta bhaktya bhagavatya dokshaje nivesitatmo pararama samsmrite. Kunti, after overhearing Arjuna's telling of the end of the Yadu dynasty and the disappearance of Lord Kṛṣṇa, engaged in the devotional service of the transcendental personality of Godhead with full attention, and thus gained release from the curse of material existence, from the course of the material existence. So when Kunti overheard, when Arjuna is speaking to Bhima and Yudhiṣṭhira, Kunti overheard and immediately she gave up her life, and she was not able to tolerate Krishna's separation. Previously also we discussed. So immediately with ekanta bhaktya bhagavatya dhokshaje nivesitatmo pararama samsmrite, she came out of the material existence just by remembering Krishna. She left her body. Yaya harad bhuvo bharam tam tanum vijaha vajaha kantakam kantakeneva dvayam chapi situssamam. The Supreme Unborn, Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa, Ajaha, caused the members of the Yadu dynasty to relinquish their bodies, tam tanum vijaha vajaha, and thus he relieved the burden of the earth. Yaya aharat bhuo bharam. This action was like picking out a thorn with a thorn, though both are the same to the controller. See, one thorn is used to take the other thorn. One thorn is the problem, other thorn is not the problem, other thorn is a solution. So Yadu dynasty was used to, the entire thing used to remove the burden of the earth in this thing. Now he sent them to relinquish their bodies, means their Devata bodies. The Devata portion went to Devalokas. It is discussed in the 11th canto. We will talk about it later. And the Yadu went back to the spiritual world. Yatha matsyadi rupani datte jahyat yatha nataha bhubharakshapito yena jahau tachakalevaram. Supreme Lord relinquished the body which he manifested to diminish the burden of the earth, just like a magician. He relinquishes one body to accept different ones, like the fish incarnation and others. Everybody knows that Krishna's body is transcendental, it is not material. If he left material body, that we have to understand as Vishwarupa. But Krishna did like the magician, means what? Yatha nataha datte jahyat yatha nataha. What happens? A magician in drama, sometimes he burns his body, sometimes he faints, sometimes he gives up body, sometimes his body puts in fire, but he is there. It's only the magician is doing the tricks, he's showing like that. Krishna also showed like that, nothing happened because his body is divyam, transcendental, it cannot be harmed. Even Matsya and other rupas also, they disappear from the sight of this particular Brahmanda people, but Krishna's pastimes in other Brahmanas are continuously going on. Srila Prabhupada says, Yada mukundo bhagavani mamahim jahau svatanva shavaniya satkadaha tadahareva pratibhuddha chetasam abhadraheto kaliranvavartata. When Bhagavan Mukunda left this earthly planet in his self-same form, from that very day, Kali, who had already partially appeared, became fully manifest to create inauspicious conditions for those who are endowed with a poor fund of knowledge. So as soon as Krishna left, Kali manifested fully. He came before only in the Sandhi period and waiting to show off his presence and his evil activities. And that day he manifested fully. That is why, Mahāraja, you saw all those bad omens. Now Yudhiṣṭhira was able to recollect. Yudhiṣṭhirastat parisharpanam budaha purecha rashtracha grihe tathatmani vibhavya lohanruta jihma vimsanadi adharma chakram gamanaya paryadhat. Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira was intelligent enough to understand the influence of age of Kali, characterized by increasing avarice, falsehood, cheating and violence throughout the capital, state, home and among individuals. So he wisely prepared himself to leave home and be dressed accordingly. So Yudhiṣṭhira heard all this, Sutta Goswami is narrating. He gave up his royal possessions and he prepared to go back home, back to Godhead. Swarat pautram vinayinam atmanas susamam gunai toyanivyapatim bhume abhyasincat gajahvaye. Immediately, what he did? In the capital of Hastinapura, he enthroned Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj was also trained and equally qualified. Toya nivya patim bhumer. Atmanas susamam guna is equally qualified as the emperor and master of all land bordered by the seas. So Parikshit became emperor. This is why this whole thing is told. Because to tell activities of Parikshit, we have to tell that he becomes the king. Mathurayam tadavajram Surasena patim tataha Prajapatyam nirupyeshtim Agnin abhivadishvaraha. He also made Vajranabha, the grandson of Lord Kṛṣṇa, son of Aniruddha, at Madhura as the king of Surasena. Because Dwarka is drowned, Madhura was Vajranabha was brought and he was made king of Madhura. Afterwards, Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira performed Prajapatya sacrifice and gave up his Grihastha kingly life and placed himself the fire of quitting household life. He gave up his household life and he became now a mendicant, beggar, vanaprastha, and prepared to leave this world. Visrujya tatra tatsarvam Dukula valayadikam Nirmamo nirahankaraha Sanchinna seshabandanaha. Visrujya tatra tatsarvam. Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira at once relinquished everything. Dukula valayadikam, his garments, ornaments, his belt, and of the royal order and everything related to that, and became completely disinterested and unattached to everything. He became nirmama, he became nirahankara. No ahankara, no mamakara. And also all kinds of bandhanas are gone. He is unattached to everything. Vasam juhava manasi tat prana itare chatam Vrityavapana sotsargam tam panchatveha johavit. Then he amalgamated all the sense organs into mind, then mind into prana, prana into breathing, his total existence into embodiment of 5 elements and his body into death. Then as pure self, he became free from the material conception of life. We will not discuss the details. Just Dhritarashtra's case also, we described this winding up process, how to give up material body. Exactly like that Yudhiṣṭhira also did. Yeah. Tidve hutva cha panchatvam tatchaikatve juhon munihi sarvam atmanya ajuhavit brahmanyatmanam avyaye. Thus, annihilating the gross body of five elements into the three qualitative modes of material nature, he merged them in the nescience, that is ignorance, and then absorbed that ignorance in the self, Brahman, which is inexhaustible in all circumstances. Merging everything into other. Finally, he merged everything into the soul. That means nothing can be merged into the soul in that sense. But he realized that he is not this body. The process of giving up the body is described here. We will get the details in second and third cantos. We will discuss at the time. Chiravasa niraharo bhaddavan mukta murdhajaha darshayannatmano rupam jadonmatta pisachavat Anvekshamano niragat Ashunvan badiro yatha. After that, once he realized, after that Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira dressed himself in torn clothing, gave up eating all solid foods, voluntarily became dumb and let his hair hang loose. All this combined to make him look like a urchin or madman with no occupation. He did not depend on his brothers for anything, and just like a deaf man, he heard nothing. See, when he was going, he didn't even ask his brothers to come or not to come. He left, and they also followed, of course. They understood. Udīcim praviveshāsam gatapurvam mahatmabhihi hridi brahma param dhyayan navarteta yato gataha. Which direction he went? Again, north. Udīcim means north. Udīcim pravivesha. Gatapurvam mahatmabhihi. Wherever the great souls went in the past. Narada Muni also went as a Narada boy. Dhritarashtra also went. Many people went. Whenever somebody wants self-relation, they have to go to north. But unfortunately, Indians go to west all the time to make money. Yeah, Gatapurvam mahatmabhihi. He then started towards the north, treading the path accepted by his forefathers and great men, to devote himself completely to the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he lived in that way wherever he went. So he became like this. Sarve tam anunirjagmuhu bhratara kritanischaya kalina dharma mitrena Drishtva sprishta praja bhuvi. The younger brothers of Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira observed that the age of Kali had already arrived throughout the world, and that the citizens of the kingdom were already affected by irreligious practice. Therefore, they decided to follow in the footsteps of their elder brother. Anunirjagmuhu bhratarak kritanischaya. They saw Kali came and this is what is happening, so they simply followed the path of Yudhiṣṭhira. They also gave up their grihastha life, they also gave up their kingly life, and they followed. Te sadhu krida sarvartha gyatva tyantikam atmanaha manasa dharayamasuhu Vaikunta charanambhujam. They all had performed all the principles of religion, and as a result rightly decided that the lotus feet of the Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa are the supreme goal of all. Therefore, they meditated upon his feet without interruption. Vaikunta charanambhujam. Remembering Krishna, they are all going towards north, towards the Himalayas. Mataji, that place is there in Himalayas somewhere where Pāṇḍavas attained. What is that place called? Huh? Just give her mic. What is that place? Tell about it. Where is it? Satopani. Where is this place? సతోపంత్.
వ్యాస గుహ తర్వాత బీన్ఫుల్ వస్తుంది.
Hmm.
బీన్ఫుల్ని మనం క్రాస్ చేసి వెళ్తే సతోపంత నుంచి స్వర్గారోహణ మెట్లు భవనం.
Okay. So after Vyas Guha, this place comes where, like, no, Pandavas went, and then there are, after that, he says Svargarohana. Mahabharata says Svargarohana because they went to Swarga. Actually, they did not go to Swarga. They passed through Swarga, and only their Devata bodies were settled in Swarga. But they actually went to their own original planet. Tadhyanodraktaya bhaktya Vishuddha dishana pare Tasmin narayana pade Ekanta yogatim Avapurduravapamte Asadbhir vishayatmabhihi Viduta kalmashasthanam Virajenatmanaivahi. Thus, by pure consciousness, due to constant devotional remembrance, they attain the spiritual sky, which is ruled over by the Supreme Narayana Lord Kṛṣṇa. This is attained only by those who meditate upon the one Supreme Lord without devotion. This abode of Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa, known as Goloka Vrindavana, cannot be attained by persons who are absorbed in the material conception of life. But the Pandavas, being completely washed of all material contamination, attained that abode in their very same bodies. They vidhuta kalmasasthanam virajenatmanaivahi. They went to that ultimate place. Prabhupada says it is Goloka Vrindavana. Some places it's also told as Vaikuntha Hastinapura because they were eternal associates of the Lord. In that place. Vidiropi parityajya prabhase dehamatmanaha Kṛṣṇāveshena tachittaha pitrubhisvakṣayam yayo. Vidura went after that while on pilgrimage, left his body at Prabhasa. Because he was absorbed in thought of Kṛṣṇa, he was received by the denizens of Pitruloka planet, where he returned to his original post. His original post as Mahārāja, but Aryama was replacement for him. So Pitru people came to accompany him, and then Aryama went to his own place, and Vidura went to Yamaloka, became Mahārāja. Pandavas went with the self same body. Like Kunti also went like that, and other people. But Vidura gave up his body. What is the difference? Pandava's body is not material. Vidura is the sadhana siddha. Pandavas are nitya siddha. That's why it is told. So whenever they say body is given up, go to heavenly planets, it is the portion of the devatas, like entered into them, that was given up, but not as such Pandavas. Draupadi cha tadāgyāya patīnām anapekshatāṃ Vasudeve Bhagavati Hyekantamatirapatam. Draupadi also saw that her husbands, without caring for her, were leaving home. She knew well about Lord Vasudeva Kṛṣṇa, the personality of Godhead. Both she and Subhadra, where is Subhadra here? Cha. Both she and Subhadra became absorbed in thoughts of Kṛṣṇa. Vasudeve Bhagavati Ekanta Matir Apatam, and attained the same results as their husbands. They also went, because they are also eternal associates of the Lord, they went back to their original places. Yashraddhayaitat Bhagavat Priyanam Pāṇḍo Sutānāmiti Samprayanam Sronyatyalam Svastyayanam Pavitram Labdhva Harau Bhakti Mupaiti Siddhim. This is the blessing of Sutta Goswami for all of us. Yaha, those Shraddhayaitat, with faith, Bhagavat Priyanam Pāṇḍo Sutānām iti Samprayanam, those with faith, Shrunoti, hear this journey of the Pandavas, this journey of the Pandavas who are dear to the Supreme Lord, their journey to back home, back to Godhead. Whoever hears, Srunot Alam, Swasti, Ayanam Pavitram, Swastyayanam, all good things will happen to them. All wonderful things, all they will get all purification, Pavitram, Labdva, Haro Bhaktim, they get Hari Bhakti, they get devotion, Upaiti Siddhim, they get perfection. So it's a blessing that all good things will happen to them and all purification will happen to them and they get Hari Bhakti and they get all perfection. They will go back home, back to Godhead. They will attain Krishna Prema. Those who faithfully hear this narration of the Pandavas going back home, back to Godhead. The subject of the departure of the sons of Pandu for the ultimate goal of life back to Godhead is fully auspicious and perfectly pure. Therefore, anyone who hears this narration with devotional faith certainly gains the devotional service of the Lord, the highest perfection of life. When the bell rings, that is true. It is said that. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. I'll stop now. Anybody has any questions, comments?
So this is similar to Mataji's question. Now, in one particular translation, it is written that when Yudhiṣṭhira saw the symptoms of Kali Yuga, he prepared himself going. Is it that escaping from responsibility of fighting against Kali Yuga and Kali symptoms and giving this response, pushing to his grandson?
Is Yudhiṣṭhira escaping his responsibilities and putting this thing? Narada Muni already told him that you leave when Krishna leaves. So he is following simply the instruction of the higher authority. It's not giving up the responsibility. It is said that that person is equally as good and capable as Yudhiṣṭhira. He trained him and he put. And generally, middle-aged people have to leave already. They were already actually in advanced days compared to the middle age. And it's time for them to leave. Narada Muni told, previously Vyasa also told, and when Krishna leaves, they will leave. And all the eternal associates, Krishna concludes his pastimes. It is said that Dharma Jnana Devis Saha, along with Dharma Jnana and all other energies, means there's all other associates also, he went back home, back to God, to his own place. Okay. They are more than 120 years, just like Krishna, correct?
No, but their lifespan is 1,000 years.
Like Dwapara Yuga, those who are born, their lifespan is also high, it is told, but they are born in Sandhi period. Generally, they are considered as the Kali Yuga life scale only, not as the Dwapara Yuga life scale. Yeah.
What is Parikshit says when he was installed on the throne?
What he says?
Age.
What was Parikshit's age? Parikshit's, when he left his body, he is like 50-year-old. That's why it is told that he is only 50-year-old. Why is he leaving? Like, he's considered still as young. Roughly some 30 years are there from now to Parikshit leaving his body. He must be 20-21. Yeah. That's what is Parikshit's age now. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, if he ruled for 30 years, they say, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj ruled only for 30-35 years. That means Parikshit also should be 30 years. Roughly, Parikshit should be maybe between 20 to 30. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj ruled 30 to 35 years, that's all. After that, Parikshit is ruled only for some time, and then he left his body. We all know the whole story. So it's very short duration. I have to just check the numbers. And anyway, sometimes exactly we don't have to, we will not be able to. Recently, Pavaneshwar Prabhu wrote one book, those 120 years, 125 years. If anybody has that, just check if these details are there and post it. Yeah, he said that he had put it from Mahabharata. Okay, I'll stop here. It's long, but thank you for your encouragement. Actually, I feel so much purified, and thank you for everybody. Yesterday, Mataji made, Tulsi Devi made the slides, and then Rohit Prabhu helped. Chinmay also helped. Thank you very much to all of you. Just few more chapters, and if we can make for entire Bhagavatam like this, nice pictures, and reading from Srila Prabhupada's purports and Acharya's commentaries, it's wonderful. Now I am doing it in Telugu, English. Definitely in some days we'll do it in Telugu also. Thank you. Hare Krishna.